Riddle me this, MAGA. I don't know how any of you Republicans or MAGA Republicans would stand by a president who cowers to an authoritarian government over in Russia. Russia used PMC Wagner to facilitate the Hamas-Hezbollah attack against Israel 10/7. MAGA, who supports Israel blindly, if you can answer this riddle, I will shut my fucking mouth. If Putin used Wagner to facilitate the 10/7 attack against Israel using Hamas and Hezbollah, why do you guys look past Trump being buddy-buddy with Putin and doing all of his bidding? If Israel is supposed to be these unwavering friends of ours that we have to support, even after they've committed so much genocide, just like Putin is committing against Ukraine, why would we allow that? Why, MAGA, would you be in support of a man, Putin, who caused so much pain and destruction against Israel? So Putin just facilitates this wild-ass, heinous attack against Israel, seemingly one of y'all's biggest allies, and you just look the other way? Then you have no problem with Trump doing Putin's bidding in every single way, every single day? It's just so disingenuous and dishonest and just in your face. In my opinion, Putin facilitated that attack knowing Netanyahu would react in such a way, because this was all a ploy from the beginning to level Gaza. Putin specializes in false flag operations. False flag operation means that they create the illusion that somebody else is to blame for a problem and they scapegoat somebody. That's how Putin took power in Russia, and you can tell that Trump tries to use his very playbook in many ways. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that you pro-Israel MAGA or the far leftists who sat this election out because you were in support of Palestine, why you guys wouldn't pick up on this? Why wouldn't you see this? They reported to us that Wagner helped facilitate that Hamas-Hezbollah attack. Wagner, now renamed African Corps, was one of Russia's primary or premier private military corporations. Wagner is responsible for a bunch of heinous crimes, tampering with elections worldwide, using internet research agency. They're guilty of tons of war crimes in Ukraine. They've done heinous things in Ukraine. They've done heinous things in Africa. There's accounts of a Wagner operator taking a sledgehammer to a civilian in Africa. These guys use psychological, cyber warfare, and real terrifying warfare against our allies. Putin knew Netanyahu would react in such a violent backlash that would result in genocide. I think Putin didn't want to be the only one on earth committing so much genocide right now. I think Putin knew that it would cause a divide in America, causing leftists to sit out a democratic election. It worked. Now, that's 4D chess. I don't know what you guys are saying, like Trump is playing 4D chess for, because what Putin did with the 10/7 attack, now that's 4D chess. And Trump is but a pawn in this. He's talking about, taking over Gaza after all this. The damage has already been done. They already turned it into rubble. Putin manipulated Netanyahu. Putin manipulated Trump. Putin manipulated all of us. Putin manipulated the electorate. Putin knows how our government works and our elections work better than we do. It just doesn't make sense that you pro-Israel MAGA just defend everything Trump does. Meanwhile, Trump sits there and does the bidding of Putin every day. And Putin was the one that caused all this mayhem, all this death, all this destruction, genocide, not only in Ukraine, but also in Gaza, Palestine, Israel. It's non-linear, it's unconstitutional, it's un-American, and I'll shut up if you give me a good reason as to why. But I don't think you guys, gals, non-binaries, or anybody can give me a good reason why. And that's why I don't shut up, is because it doesn't make sense. It's completely void of logic, empathy, respect. It's a slap in our fucking face. Meanwhile, Putin's just laughing with his Russian oligarchs as Trump and Musk go in and stop the investigative units that we were trying to hold these billionaire oligarchs in Russia who are trying to take over Ukraine just for their lithium and cobalt and wheat. They're just laughing how we're giving up and we're throwing in the towel. And like all the assets that we seized of those oligarchs, we could have used that money to stop authoritarianism. Trump is undoing all that. So now those guys are going to stop being investigated. They're probably going to get their assets back. They're going to be that much more powerful. They're going to keep committing genocide in Ukraine, Africa, Gaza. It's going to continue. And we tried to tell you, both on the far left and you MAGA, we try to tell you that Trump is pro-genocide. Trump is pro-wars. Look at it now. Look at what he's doing now. The same disingenuous bullshit the Republicans pulled with weapons of mass destruction to go into Iraq too and Afghanistan and to cost all that money and lives. They're doing it in just a rebranded, retooled way, using private military companies. And instead of trench warfare, now it's lawfare and mis and disinformation campaigns. And they're taking over economies and cooing democratic countries all over the planet, taking over all the media, sane-washing genocide. It doesn't make sense. This is not like you. This is not like Republicans. What happened to the Republicans that I knew that would stand in the face of tyranny and tell them to fuck you? I don't ever remember growing up any Republican being like, I'm gonna cower to authoritarians, and they think it's funny committing genocide. Y'all MAGA Republicans think this is a joke, or if that's the problem, you don't even think. What this tells me is that you guys haven't even thought about this shit. And you see facts in front of you that cause cognitive dissonance and go against what you've been told on the news and by Trump, and you just disregard it. And then you try to gaslight us. I think you guys are fucking un-American. I'm so fucking pissed off right now. And for good goddamn reason. And if you guys can't produce a fucking good reason as to why Putin and Trump are friends, even though they facilitated attack against Netanyahu, and we try to claim that we're friends with Israel, meanwhile, we do everything that Putin asks, then if you can't answer that, then I don't respect your opinion on anything else. Meanwhile, Trump is dismantling the very groups inside CIA and FBI that would help combat against terrorism. And we are now more unsafe than we were weeks ago. Fuck the price of eggs. I bought some eggs last night. I don't really care about that. I care about our actual borders and our defense. And right now, what I see is Trump has weakened our defenses. It just doesn't make sense to me.